Welcome to This Must Be Heard, a recurring podcast featuring discussions of Delaware County Community College's events, achievements, and initiatives. In this special episode, we discuss the DCCC and Hedgerow Theater co-production of the play Tuesday. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, my name is Raven Romero, and this is another episode of This Must Be Heard. Today we're talking with Professor Stephen Smith, who is the Drama Department Coordinator and Director of Tuesday, an upcoming production. We have Marci Bramucci, who is the Executive Artistic Director of Hedgerow Theater Company. And we have Cara Ochs, who is a fellow student and stage manager of the play. My co-host today is Tashia White. How's everyone doing today?
Good, Raven. Thanks for asking.
Great. Thank you for having us.
Good. I'm excited. Thank you.
So let's jump right in with our first question. Can you tell me a little bit, Professor Smith, about the theater department and, kind of what you guys do?
Sure. At Delaware County Community College, we have an associate's degree in communications. We have three options at the college for communication arts. One of them is communication arts. The second one is journalism. And the third option is the theater option. So you graduate with an associate's degree in communications, but you've taken several drama courses, and that degree transfers to four-year colleges into theater majors. Some of my students go into film, and we teach all different courses on acting and the history of theater and stagecraft. You can learn how to build sets and design lights and costumes and that kind of thing. And we do, usually we do a play in the fall and a musical in the spring. And we've just begun last summer doing a summer Shakespeare outdoors. But because of the pandemic, because of COVID, things have kind of got twisted around, and we're doing it's not quite a musical, but it's heavily musical in its content, the show that we're doing this semester, which is called Tuesday. And I'm basically the one full-time professor in the theater department and do most of the directing and teaching in this department.
Nice. And I heard that we're collaborating with Hedgerow. Can you talk a little bit more about that collaboration?
Yes, we will be collaborating with Hedgerow Theater Company from Media, Pennsylvania, which is why we have my dear friend Marci Bramucci here, who's the Executive Artistic Director of Hedgerow Theater Company. Marci, would you like to say a little bit about our collaboration?
Sure. And I just joined Hedgerow as of July of this past year. So this is a really exciting intersection for me personally, and also for Hedgerow, that is so invested in lifelong learning and wanting to have this as an ongoing training space for emerging artists and for professional artists to intersect. So it's really exciting to be elevating and supporting this production of Tuesday.
Right. And I think it's so cool that students are getting the opportunity to actually perform in such a renowned theater. I mean, you really can't beat that kind of hands-on training and hands-on experience, right?
It's true, and that's what we all need. And part of the thing being within an institution of higher learning is having these opportunities for professional exposure. And Professor Smith has done such a wonderful job of weaving those opportunities for your students. And that's something that I'm really, really grateful for and looking forward to more partnerships in the future.
The people the connections that you make are extremely important when you go out and into your professional career. And so we're hoping that the connections that the students establish with the professionals that they may meet at Hedgerow will be a continuing relationship into their professional careers.
And Hedgerow has an official program. Our fellowship program is a year-round residency. So actors and artists and technicians and designers, emerging artists of all shades, are invited to apply for a long-term residency position where they live on Hedgerow's campus and are involved in all of the productions in the season ahead. And that's something that we will be announcing in the coming weeks, actually. So that would be a really wonderful opportunity for someone who is emerging in their work.
Nice. Well, we'll be looking forward to that. And it's never too early to start networking. What's really cool is that you guys are collaborating on this really interesting and unique production Tuesday. Raven, you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so could you tell me a little bit about the production itself? What is this? We've heard how you guys are going to be collaborating, but can you tell us a little bit about what is the content of the show that you're producing?
Sure. It's somewhat difficult to describe to people who haven't seen it. It was created by a man named Jewel Walker, who was my movement professor at the University of Delaware as I was getting my MFA in acting. And he is a world famous mime. In fact, he was the original mime on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the children's television show that was on PBS for decades. And so he created this piece which combines mime, but also those physical comedy techniques and rhythm and music, in particular jazz music, which is an improvisational type of music. So the play, it's called Tuesday, and it basically depicts the situations and the events that would happen on an everyday street in America, in the heartland of America, on the most ordinary day of the week, Tuesday. Cara, our stage manager, is here with us, and she's working on a show like this for the first time. I wonder what her impressions. How would you describe the show, Cara?
I think the best way I could describe it is to tell you how I described it to my parents, who really aren't into theater. And what I told them is that it's entirely a movement-based piece with no dialogue, and it just shows you what a regular Tuesday is like for most people in the world.
Are you acting in it too, Cara, or are you just producing or being a coordinator?
No, so I'm just a stage manager, and a lot of what I do is helping the director and making sure that the production kind of goes smoothly and make sure that we don't have too many issues and too many problems along the way.
Okay, well, that's a big job.
Yeah, in our department, we're not only training students to be actors, but we're training them in the technical production aspects of theater. And so Cara's job as a stage manager, which is an incredibly important job, she will be actually running the show in the booth, calling the sound and light cues for the actual performances. She will really take over once we're done the rehearsal process, from me. My job will be over. And once the show is up and running, it's really Cara's show.
Well, that's great. And that's a very big job. It's always interesting to see how, there's a lot of roles behind the scenes that the average person wouldn't necessarily think about. But you guys are also training students, not just on the stage, but in those behind the scene roles as well.
Exactly.
And this is Marci. What's so exciting about this play is there is a whole other play happening backstage in what they need to maneuver with props and with costumes and with movement and who's behind what door. There is so much to keep track of, and it's really, really exciting. And what's exciting to me about it is being physically based as a means of storytelling. We don't often get these kinds of live theater experiences. Often so much of theater is dialogue based and text based, and so it's really just viscerally exciting, the playfulness of this piece and the energy that's in it. So it's wonderful that it's going to be quite a workout behind the scenes and on stage the whole time.
That's right.
I was thinking it's going to be amazing. This has to be amazing just the idea of coordinating show that's completely nonverbal.
Right. And as Marci mentions, it's very prop and costume heavy. There are only 7 actors, 4 men and 3 women, and they play every character in the performance. And so there's a lot of quick changes, a lot of props, a lot of costumes backstage. So the backstage is almost as energetic as what's going on in the on stage.
Yeah, and a lot of these productions, it sounds like particularly this production as well, it takes a lot of hard work and discipline and coordination. I don't think a lot of people think about that, but it's all worth it for a lot of different reasons. And those reasons are why the arts, the performing arts, any of the arts are so important, right, Raven?
Yeah, totally. And I was wondering if we could hear a little bit more from Cara about why we should support the arts in Delaware and Chester counties and why we should support this huge effort that's going on that everyone is a part of.
Yeah, so I've done theater for a very long time now, and I've always thought it's really important to support the arts, and especially in our area. And I think a big reason to support the arts right now that specifically relates to the state of the world is that the arts took a really big hit during the pandemic and because of COVID. And now being able to put the arts back out there and do shows like this and have a live audience again is just, it's really special, and it's really beautiful. And going to see shows, and specifically shows like this that aren't something that we're used to. Tuesday isn't a show that the general public would think of when they think oh, I'm going to go see a play. I think it's good to expose ourselves to these kind of different shows that open new thoughts about the arts to us.
Right. I've always believed that the arts are very cathartic. Like you said, they offer the opportunity for connection, for interpretation of things that are going on now, of past events, of potential future events, things that we wouldn't even imagine. So, for many different reasons, I agree. We should all make sure that we support the arts. What do you think, Raven?
I agree as well. I mean, I'm not a theater person, but I also love art, and I do, drawing and animation and stuff like that. And I agree that it's just the arts are such a kind of integral part of like the human experience. So I definitely, agree. Does anyone else have any other thoughts about why we should support the arts before we close out for today?
I think Cara put it beautifully there, that especially now after this 2 years of the COVID pandemic, when Marci and I got on stage for the first time at Hedgerow in the Weir this past October, it was just such an incredible experience because we're able to connect with a live audience once again. And there's something to be said for that connection of people in the same room experiencing the same story and having the same experience all together that we're really missing for the past 2 years. And as Cara pointed out, a lot of artists really suffered, especially theater artists, you know what I mean? Because there was nothing going on. Of course, we weren't able to do live theater. So it's really important that we support that. The science and technology is great, and those people do so much good work for us, but it's the humanities that allow us to communicate about those things, right? And to relate to each other. And
right.
So I think it's incredibly important that we support all of the arts, and that we connect with each other.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Well, I think that's all the time we have, right, Raven?
Yes, one more thought before we head out. Since we now are very enthusiastic, we all want to go support the arts. Can you tell us the dates of the show that you guys are doing Tuesday?
Absolutely. So we will be doing previews, matinees that are 2:00, and those will be free for students and faculty at Delaware County Community College. And those will be March 28th and 29th. That's a Monday and a Tuesday. Then we'll be running March 30th to April 2nd. Tickets are $15. And then the following week is April 6th to the 9th. Then we're going to take a week off, and we're going to move the set to Hedgerow. And those performances will be April 21st to 24th. And then the following week, April 28th to May 1st.
Well, it sounds like a lot of dates. So I bet everyone hopefully will be able to find a time to go see it. I know I will.
Yes.
Maybe I'll go on one of those Tuesday dates. Go see Tuesday on a Tuesday.
There you
Pretty
go.
cool.
Yes, we are definitely excited to see how this turns out.
So, as Tashia said, we're about out of time now. So I just want to thank everyone so much for being here. Cara, Steven, Marci, and Tashia, of course, for being my co-host. Thank you to everyone for listening, and we're out.
You've been listening to This Must Be Heard, brought to you by the New Media Lab and Campus Life. Today's hosts and producers were Raven Amaro and Tashia White. Our guests today were Cara Ochs, Marci Bramucci, and Professor Stephen Smith. Victoria Colbreth and Samuel Larson designed our cover art. Indigo Frazier composed our theme music. Raven Amaro prepared our title cards. And I am Chase Coleman, your announcer for this episode. Please be sure to like this episode and follow us on Instagram at DCCC_New Media Lab. Thanks again for listening.